Alright guys, welcome back to Stone Cold Sober, the YouTube channel that's going to help us all get clean together. So, what this video is going to be about is my first tips, I would say, the things that have worked well for me the first couple weeks of, after you quit. In particular, what I went through is opiates, quitting opiates. After my friend died, on New Year's, I have decided to cold turkey stop because that's an eye-opener. And so these are some tips that help me get through withdrawal right now. I'm now a little over 2 weeks clean, so from a everyday habit. So I was spending a couple $100s a week. I'm sure you can relate if you're out there on the internet looking for help like I was. You're probably in a pickle yourself, so whatever, I'm going to say it like it is. I was spending a couple $100s a week. It was an everyday habit. I couldn't sleep without it. I mean, you know how it is. I mean, if you ever tried to quit yourself, then you know how bad withdrawal sucks. And I mean, just the feeling of withdrawing alone is enough to make me never want to touch anything like that ever again. So anyway, this is what just got me through my first 2 weeks. First things first, what to expect. If you guys have found yourself in a bind with this stuff and you don't know what to expect when you stop, this is it. I mean, here's the scoop. When you first stop, all you can think about is, I mean, first off, you don't even remember why you wanted to quit because you feel so bad, you just wanted it back. And then at least in my first couple attempts, like, a couple years ago, I would just run right back to the stuff because I just felt so bad. And I even lost focus. I lost perspective on why I even wanted to quit in the first place. So that's I recommend this. This is what I did that helped me fix that problem. Okay, good. I'm still on candid camera here. Something that helped me fix that problem was I started writing down my goals. I wrote down, I am going to quit, and then you fill in the blank, whatever it is that you're trying to quit: tobacco, alcohol, Percocets, heroin, whatever it is that you're found yourself in a bind with. Write down, I am going to quit. Write it down 10 times, okay? There's something magical about when you write something down. It sinks into your brain so much better because you're saying it aloud in your head, you're writing it down on paper, and then you're reading it, you're seeing it with your eyes, and that is going to make it that much more powerful. You're going to have that much more, I don't know, the word isn't quite discipline, but it's going to give you more willpower, and you're going to remember why it is that you're doing this. Write down, for instance, I would write down, I am going to quit Percocets. I wrote down how much money I'm spending on it. I wrote down that my best friend just died from opiates. I write down that others of my friends are in jail from this stuff. Reasons. I wrote them down, and I write them down every day. So that's something that's working for me. Write it down, guys. That's tip number one. That just gives you that initial oomph, so that way you're tracking. Okay. That's the first thing to expect too. Is you're gonna not even remember why you wanted to do this, and you're gonna think, oh, it's not so bad. I can just do it one more time, one more time, one more time. I'm sure you've done that before. I do that with everything. With tobacco, it's like, this is gonna be the last can of dip. This is gonna be the last cigarette, and it never is. You know what I mean? It never is. So it has to actually be. When you first start, it doesn't hurt. Don't do it right now just because you watched a YouTube video on it. Don't do it right now. Say, I'm gonna quit on Monday. I'm gonna quit on Friday. Like, that is the day. That is my first day clean. Set a future date and then stick to it. I didn't do this. I quit cold turkey because, like I said, in the first video on this channel, I said my friend died. So I quit right then and there. I never did it again. I read a book by J.P. Getty, Getty Oil, you might have heard of that. And basically, one day, he was a you know, he smoked cigarettes, so he was addicted to cigarettes. And one day he was about ready to go out at 2 a.m. in the pouring rain to go buy some cigarettes because he woke up at night and needed one. And when he went out into the cold rain, he went, "This is ridiculous. Why am I going to wake up in the middle of the night and go walk through the rain just to buy something because I'm addicted to it?" And he quit right then and there. So that's, I mean, you know, have your epiphany, go, "This is stupid. I'm going to stop." For most people, though, it works best to set that as a future date. And then I've heard a lot about tapering down. So for you, it might work best if you taper down leading up to that date. You know, use half tomorrow, half the next day, half of that the next day, leading up to your quit date. It's probably a good way to go. So I didn't do that because, like I said, mine was more of a sense of urgency, but it might work really well for you. Alright, I'm trying to try to keep this as concise as possible. The next thing to expect, you can't sleep at all. Okay, when you try to sleep, it's impossible. Okay, at least for the first couple nights. Expect that. Okay, it's going to be really hard. The reason for it is, first off, you're laying there craving. The other thing, the phenomenon that you'll experience, especially with an opiate withdrawal, is you're restless. So you might have heard of restless legs syndrome. It's very real, and it's unlike anything you've ever experienced. Basically, you literally can't stop yourself from twitching. It's sort of like you feel like you want to flex your muscles, like almost like you want to flex your muscles, or you want to just like your legs are trying to run away when you're lying on your back, or lying on your side and your legs are like running. I don't know if any of you guys have ever gone hunting or seen a depiction of, you know, someone dying where their muscles kind of spasm for no reason. That's what's happening. I mean, you have severe muscle spasms. It's called restless leg syndrome. It's real. Expect it. It's very uncomfortable. At the end of the day, that's really all it is uncomfortable. So you can get through this. Some things that help me with sleep. There is, you know, I don't want to recommend drugs. I'm not a doctor, you know, disclaimer. But I mean, it did help for me to go get some Z-Quil. What I bought was like the off-brand at Walmart, like Z-Quil. It was only like $4. So I would take 2 of those Z-Quils, whatever the dosage it said to take was. They did help me get a couple hours of sleep here and there. I mean, so you know what to expect. My first night I didn't sleep at all. The second night I got like 3 hours on and off of really bad sleep. Night 3 was about the same way. Night 4 was a little bit better. I think I got like 5 or 6 hours of really bad sleep. I mean, bad sleep being every half an hour or an hour I was awake for another 15-20 minutes before I would kind of doze off again. Still pretty restless. When you're trying to sleep, you sweat. I get chills. So 1 second I'm freezing. I get all cuddled up in blankets and I'll put on hoodies and whatnot. And then the next second, you would get a hot flash. So then you start, I mean, so you're just hot and cold and you're sweating and you're restless. It's really hard to sleep for the first, I would say, 4 nights. By the 5th night, I was so exhausted, I think, that it got a little bit better and I was able to sleep a little bit more. Probably got, you know, 4 hours straight through with like 1 or 2 on the sides of that. Something that I found that sort of helped me sleep, it's one of those things like a do-it-yourself remedy to help you get some sleep in these kind of situations, is you mix some apple cider vinegar and honey into warm water. And this has first of all, it's helping to flush out the toxins in your body, which is a big deal, and I'll get to that. But the other thing is it is sort of soothing and helps your mind settle and go to sleep. So apple cider vinegar, honey, and water mixed up. It does seem to help a little bit. And if nothing else, it's definitely helping to flush out some toxins, which is ultimately what we're really trying to do here, is, you know, get all the toxins out of our body, cleanse. So that's, you know, that's what to expect as far as sleep goes. Z-Quil and that little do-it-yourself remedy, those things helped me a little bit. Next big tip for you. So what we're trying to do here is we're trying to get all the drugs out of our system. Okay, we're detoxing. The best way to do this, in my opinion, again, I'm not a doctor, but In my opinion, the best way to do that is you need to sweat it out and drink fluids and sweat and drink and sweat and drink. You don't want to drink Coke, okay? Do I have to say this? Probably, because we're all knuckleheads. That's why we're in this situation. You want to drink water. You want to drink a lot of good, clean water. I mean, just pound it down. Remember, if you drink too much, it actually can kill you. So, water is more dangerous than marijuana is the joke. But in all seriousness, you want to drink a lot of water. I mean, what I do is when I'm at work all day, I have a bottle of water, and I'm drinking that baby, I'm reloading it, I'm drinking it all day long. I'm drinking water. Sweat. In addition to this just being good for you, you really are going to benefit from waking up before your day and going for a run. You know, you're not doing this so much for fitness in this instance. You're doing it to sweat. So what I did, at least, is I would do some intense cardio wearing sweats, a hoodie, sweatpants, and Under Armour stuff underneath, or whatever you've got, long johns. You know, wear some warm stuff and sweat. Make yourself sweat. So you run as much as you can, then walk it out. I mean, you're not really getting a workout in. What you're trying to do is sweat. You're sweating out those toxins. This is somewhat, it doesn't quite work like that, guys, but it's so good for your mental health to go out and get that workout in and drink in new fresh water after sweating out some of the toxins. This is going to be very good for you. Do it. And the other thing is that working out for me, if I just did some light squats, I did some push-ups, you know, just some easy stuff, and I worked out my muscles, I found that it really helped with my restless leg syndrome. And then, you know, again, I'd take some Advil, and then before bed some ZzzQuil and that mixture. It was how I was able to overcome those things, because I was just so physically exhausted. You know, I felt okay. Like, I was occupied. The other thing is that I struggled with, and this is going to be my last thing because this video is getting long. The last thing that I struggled with was because I'm not getting high anymore, I'm very bored, which was partially, I have ADHD, and I think that was partially why I even got into it in the first place, is because I was bored. You know, you go to work, you come home, and then what? Our generation is living in a world that is experiencing what is called an existential vacuum, meaning we have no meaning in our lives. We're waking up, we're going to jobs that are meaningless to us. You know, we're not meant to do the things that we're doing. We're meant to be out in the woods, you know, scavenging for vegetables and hunting game, and, you know, raising cattle and cutting down trees and building fires. And instead we're going to work and we're, you know, typing in numbers, or we're heating up food and putting it on a hoagie, whatever it is that you do. It's not what humans were meant to do. So we struggle, we don't have a sense of meaning in our lives. And I think that's what is causing a lot of this drug epidemic. I mean, the opioid epidemic is huge, guys. I mean, we are not alone. In the next 10 years, 750,000 Americans will die. That's just Americans will die. 750,000, almost a million. And I wouldn't be surprised if the number isn't even higher than that. Almost a million Americans are going to die in the next 10 years from this stuff. Don't be one of those. Don't be a statistic. Alright? We got to stop. I know that our lives are weird. The system's jacked up. I have a whole nother channel coming. It's in the it's being made because, again, I said this in the first video, but I do have some successful e-commerce sites. So that channel is called Self-Made. Self-Made. If you're interested, you can, you know, look it up. Where I talk about how to make money online. Despite my personal problems, I was able to be quite successful on the internet. So, you know, that's a topic for another time. But that's why we're getting into this stuff. So now that I'm clean, I'm finding that I'm I'm back to this state of boredom. Like, what am I supposed to do with my life? Like, I'm just, you know, you have all this time where basically I used to get high and play video games or watch TV or read a book, and now those things aren't nearly as entertaining because I'm sober while I'm doing it. And so that's kind of what's happening. So expect that. I'm warning you now, when you go to quit, you're going to feel bored. And so for me, like filling that void with working out uh, and other productive things has been the best way for me to cope. So things, I mean, I've totally rearranged my house. I, you know, I've purged my computer. I've read 3 books. Um, I've lost 20 pounds just from working out and eating healthier. Because like I've been clean for 2 weeks, but I've been working on this even before that. I mean, you know, I've tried to quit opiates and failed several times leading up to this when I just went, enough is enough after my friend died. So that's, you know, those are some of the things that I've been able to accomplish. So I recommend that, you know, find productive things to do and fill those spots where you used to be high, fill it with something productive and meaningful, something that matters, something that tomorrow you'll thank yourself for. You know, they say every day you want to do something that your future self is going to thank you for. So think of tomorrow. What are you going to have to do tomorrow? Try to do something for yourself tomorrow, today. Those are things that are going to help. So I know I ran long. There is a lot to cover on this topic. I mean, guys, I'm passionate about this. I think that I know I'm going to do it, and I think that I can help other people do it too. And I think if we all just get together and we form a support network, you know, we're going to get through this as a unit. So what I would ask is that you go ahead and subscribe to my channel. I'll pitch that at you again, but that way we can have our support network. You'll be able to reach out to me, you know, whenever you need to reach out to me, and I'll get back to you to try to help you as best I can. Again, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a psychiatrist, but I am somebody who has gone through the same thing that you're going through. I've lost everything, and I mean, I know what you're going through. And you can reach out to me, and I'll be as personal as you want. I'll give you the answers you want. I'm not going to throw them out there for the whole internet. But that's my spiel. So to recap, what to expect: you're not going to be able to sleep. You're going to wish that you were doing the drugs again because you're going to be bored, okay, without them. You know, you're going to go back to that life, the reasons that pushed you to them in the first place. They're going to all of a sudden be very real again because you're going to be sober and looking them right in the eye. So, you know, those are, you know, no sleep, that boredom, restlessness, sweats. I at least am pretty socially awkward right when I first get off something, just because I'm pretty much just miserable and your brain chemicals are all messed up. So expect those things. Ways to combat it: you know, wake up and do a workout, sweat, drink a whole lot of water, take some Advil. That will help. It'll help, you know, your head feel better, your muscles feel a little bit better. I got some liniment. It's actually for, you know, like basically icy hot or biofreeze. Those are things that, you know, I rub on my muscles, and it helps. It helps a lot. When I go to bed, I take ZQuil and or whatever, an off-brand ZQuil works fine. That's what I actually use. And finally, I mix some apple cider vinegar with honey inside of a cup of water. I mean, that's something that, you know, you can get through your whole withdrawal off of $10 right there. That sleeping, relaxation, detoxifying little drink really does help. So those are my tips for you guys. Those are my experiences. Again, this is a life or death decision that you need to make. I recommend setting it as a future date and then taper off as you lead up to it, especially if you're in a bad situation. I think I'm sort of a freak in that I was able to just stop. It's only been 2 weeks clean, but hey, it's going to grow every single day. And this vlog and you guys out there on YouTube and in my email, you're going to be my support network, and I'm going to be yours, and we're going to get through this thing. So I mean, 14 days is just going to grow and grow and grow. Actually, it's been 16 days now, so a little over 2 weeks. Also, I forgot to mention, I do write it down. Write down everything you did that day. Write down what you ate. Write down what day it is, how much you weighed. You know, log yourself, and that way it'll stick in your head better. You'll stay motivated. Write down your goals. They'll stick in your head better. You'll remember them all day long. So those are my tips, guys. Please, please, please go ahead and subscribe. That way you'll see my next video and the next one, and we're going to build some momentum, and we're going to start a movement, okay? We're going to be stone cold sober. That's the name of this channel. That is what it is. That is what it is, because we got to be. So, thanks for watching. And good luck to you. I mean, if you don't watch any more of my videos because you didn't like what I had to say, or you don't like me, that's fine. But I wish you the best of luck. This is important. So we're doing a good thing here. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.